Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weird, wonderful world. First things first, the most important thing is to welcome my newest subscriber that I know about. So, Greg Van Fleet, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining my channel. I do hope you get entertained by it and all that good stuff. So, welcome. So, I'm going to just jump right into it. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. I been had recently been urged by Larry Graves, of course, known as the Canadian Stud Muffin. A while back, maybe about 6, 7 months ago, I had watched the Beatles' Yellow Submarine, and I'm only using these album covers as a reference. Just these were the three movies that I ended up watching. So the first thing, the first I had watched that months ago. I had given a review, and I'm not going to necessarily give a review of it now. I'll pin that up here at the end of this video for sure. I'll give a brief review. I loved it. I had never actually seen the whole entire movie. I had always seen a little bit of parts here and there. Don't know why I was never really interested in seeing the movie, but I'm so glad that I did because I did thoroughly enjoy it. Now, I should have looked into these on my own. I should have realized that that these movies would have been good too. But again, it kind of escaped. Me being busy sometimes, it escaped my attention that there's movies that I knew about A Hard Day's Night. Okay, I knew about that one, and I eventually, after I was suggested, the one that was suggested by Larry though was Help, that I should watch that, and I'll give a little ranking there of which ones I liked more and the least best. But I watched Help about on Saturday night. I watched Help, and then last night, and in the headphones on my TV, uh, for both of these, the quality, but the image, and it's from YouTube. It was from a YouTube, and I could have watched the colored version of A Hard Day's Night, but I ended up watching the black and white one because everything inside is black and white, uh, including the liner notes and everything here. It's all black and white anyway, so it's like no, I'm gonna keep it. It was probably the way it was intended to be. So I was kind of happy to see one of the actors, the guy with the pointy nose that. In this movie, he plays the guy who was trying to get them all together to come into the studio to do a broadcast or something. Yeah, but it was cool seeing him also in here too. Now I like how and they pretty much focus on all four equally in the movie, but it's always a little special attention on Ringo being the one they tease the most, and they'll tease his nose and he's the bad boy, and yeah, I thanks to these movies, Ringo is starting to become one of my favorite characters. Now think of them as characters, but they're actually playing themselves. So I was really happy. I was really happy with seeing the movies. I really enjoyed them. Now the one, okay, on the top of the list, okay, the one I enjoyed the most was Help. That movie was just, I don't know, special. The From the opening shot of them doing a sacrifice type of thing in a temple and stuff, and finding the ring missing, and who happens to have the ring. Of course, the MacGuffin of the whole entire movie is Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr happens to have it, and some okay, I'm just gonna collect my thoughts here a little bit. I wrote some of this stuff down, but it looked like a pop rock. It looked like a pop rock. It's a big garish jewel, and it's on his right hand too, of course, is on his right ring finger. But we all know now, okay, that Richard Starsky, Ringo's a real name. He's actually left-handed. He's actually left-handed. So the whole in joke and the whole is that all the rest of the Beatles, they just kind of want this stuff to be dealt with. So like, yeah, what's a finger? What's a finger? You can lose a finger. The whole entire episode, the thing that really made me laugh, of course, was how there's an intermission, just a like after act. There's three acts. Okay, the after the first act ends, around the first after the first third of the movie, the first act ends, and then there's an intermission, and it's just them in the field, and one of them's jumping around. It's just a couple of seconds of them jumping around in the field. And then the intermission ends, and then it's part two, and all part two is it shows one woman kind of bathing another woman, kind of trying to scrub the paint off her, and she says, "Where you been, eh? You went back to that temple again, ain't ya? You're as bad as your sister, coming back from work all hours and all colors." And that ends chapter two. That's all of chapter two. Is just that made me laugh. That made me laugh because in the context of the movie, yeah, that was, and then it comes back to part three. Okay, so part three starts parts where she's about to give Ringo Starr an injection in his finger. It's a shrinking potion that will shrink that part of your body that will make But what ends up happening is Paul McCartney gets stabbed with the needle, and it puts him small, and then he's naked because he's out of his clothes, and I'm just yeah. So and he goes into an ashtray, and he gets spilled with some wine or something, and he bathes in it, and yeah, it's a crazy plot, but I just thought it was funny. I really loved it, and that one part where the villain, the guy that was trying to get the ring from Ringo. At one part where he's outside on the phone, and all his cronies are piled up right around him, and he's on the phone with Ring, well, with one of the Beatles, and he's saying, "Go to the window, go to the window, go to the window." Cracked me up. It's cracked me up the way he was saying it. Just the acting choices that actor was putting into it, just to make it, to give it that it's such a pointless movie. There's no point to it at all. You know, just to keep it interesting, they give Ringo the MacGuffin, and they say, yeah, have them all go and attempt to get that ring off of Ringo, but they keep failing. And yeah, it's my favorite one for sure. And then in second place would be, of course, the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. I did really enjoy that. I thought it was whimsical, and again, the best joke is from Ringo, where I think John Lennon was saying, I think where he says, "I think that's Beatle proof," and then Ringo goes, "Nothing is Beatle proof." I thought that was so awesome. And of course, that last place would be A Hard Day's Night. Simply because these were just funnier, and just a little bit more excitement, and just a little bit more silliness. This was just a little bit more of the day in the life of a rock band. It showed more of who, I think, is more true to nature, to who they seem just a little bit more of a caricature of themselves in these, especially, of course, the animated being animated. Yeah, but with help, I enjoyed every second of that. That was such a great watch. But I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this too. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed this almost as much as the other ones, but just because of how basic and straightforward. There's no actual plot to it. It's just basically you're just following around the band and getting into a little mischief. I think the whole subplot with the grandfather and everything kind of yeah, kind of pushes it along somehow. But there's no real rhyme and reason to this movie. It's just you're just following these guys around and and looking at the kind of almost like an like examining their fame from a different point of view. You know, though still being recognized and getting chased down by the teenage fans and how crazy and wild they went for the band. Yeah, yeah, so that's my review of these movies. I had never really sat down to watch them, and right now, like it's super top quality. Like I watched it on my TV, and it was just like I was watching it like from a DVD. It was DVD quality on that TV, and it was crisp and clear. The sound was beautiful. Everything sounded great. So I highly recommend, if you haven't seen these movies from the Beatles, go and check them out because, like I said, you can find them free on YouTube. Take the advantage and check them out for sure because they're so worth watching at least once. I do want to watch them again because especially Help. I do want to watch that again because I thoroughly enjoyed, again, especially that joke, of where have you been. That whole, like, just bring it to that one little chapter, like that joke just made the whole movie worth it. You know, well, I mean, it was worth it already, but it just was the cherry on top that made it just like it was like I thought, okay, that was brilliant for the time that movie was made and came out. That was a brilliant joke that I just thought landed just perfect for me. So yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, I am going to let you go. Like I said, I didn't want to make this too long, a little bit longer than I was planning, but it's not super long. So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do because I will love you forever and greatly appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit the like button and most definitely leave me a comment because I love hearing from you. Even though I'm sometimes the worst at trying to respond to you guys, I do try to respond to everybody, or at least if I, as long as I at least give your channel, your comment a heart, a channel heart, then you know that I like your comment and I'm grateful that you commented. But I will try to comment back. All right, I am going to let you go now, and everybody, please be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side, and please, everybody, have a great day, evening, morning, night, or afternoon, wherever you may be. Peace, everybody.